Okay, so I said I would do 2020 New Year's resolutions, and I wanted to make that video real quick while I have a second. So 2020, let's see. I don't know where to really start. The year hasn't really started as planned, but it's I'm trying to make the best of this year. We're trying to make the best of this year. It was really rough for us in 2019 with our failed IVF. My mother-in-law being in the hospital on Christmas Eve, like literally for 3 days. And my husband's aunt also being in the hospital, still in the hospital. So it's been kind of rough. I'm not going to lie. The year started off, or the end of the year ended really rocky, and it kind of started off really rocky. So our 2020 goals, well, my goals and my husband's are different, but we do have some common goals, and I won't really talk about too much about those. Well, maybe I will. I'll touch on a little bit of everything, but I want to share with you guys something that my husband turned me on to it, but I'm really been the one that's been listening to it because he hasn't followed through with it. He's been working a lot, so he hasn't really had a chance to give him a credit. Actually, I won't fault him for this one, but my husband turned me on to a podcast, One Extraordinary Marriage podcast, and I absolutely love the podcast. I love what they talk about. I love the goals that they have, or different steps and milestones that they've done in their marriage, and I just love it. I mean, like, no marriage is perfect, and I could sit here and tell you guys all day that my marriage is wonderful and it's perfect and we don't ever fight and all this stuff, but that's a lie. My marriage is something that I work on every single day, and my marriage has its ups and downs, and we argue. We don't, I wouldn't say fight like that, because at the end of the night, we always try to go to bed happy, and if we're not happy, we try to go to bed understanding why the other one's upset, and we kind of talk through it. But I do want to touch on this podcast. It's an amazing podcast. If you guys have not listened to it or ever heard of it, please look it up. It's amazing, and they have kind of inspired me, honestly, to think differently and really just kind of try to work on myself in my marriage, because some of the things that they talk about, it's 100% true. And I think that, well, really, why wouldn't you want to work on your marriage, right? Like, why wouldn't you want to invest into it, and why wouldn't you want to continue to be the best you and the best couple and the best for your relationship? So with that being said, I feel that this year so far started off pretty good. We have started listening to this podcast, and I'm on episode 20 something. My husband honestly just jumps around to what he thinks is good and what he wants to listen to, which is fine as long as he's listening to some of it, but he's not as consistent as I am. But one of the big things in that podcast is obviously intimacy, and kind of different ways, because everybody knows that it could get boring, it could get tiring, it could become a chore, and I don't want that to happen in my marriage. So really thinking outside the box and doing things differently has been kind of fun, and has been rewarding at the same time. So one thing that we just recently started this year was, and we've only done it once, so I can't tell you that we've done it multiple times, but one thing that we're starting, and which is something that they talked about in the podcast, is we are rotating months for date night. So we're actually setting the time aside every month to go on a date. Just me and him. We could do something minimal. We don't have to spend a lot of money, or we can do something crazy and we can spend some money. But really, every other month we rotate. And this last January, or this month, I chose, and we went to Color Me Mine, and it's a ceramic place, and we got to paint some ceramic pieces. I'll have to show you them later, but really cute ceramic pieces, and we just had a great time. Like, we just sat there and we talked and we painted and we enjoyed each other. And then after that, we went to Round Table Pizza and we got some pizza and we came home and we had pizza and beer. And then after that, we watched the movie Fireproof. And if you guys have not seen that movie, excuse me, I highly recommend that you watch that movie if you have not seen it. If you're a married couple and you guys are struggling, or even if you're not struggling in your marriage, watch that movie. It's an amazing movie. I also got that movie from the podcast, but I really enjoy the podcast, and so far things are, just great. So also something that they talked about is 7 days of intimacy, and that's something that I think is great and can strengthen any relationship. We haven't quite put ourselves to the test of that yet, but we are talking about doing something like that. So that's something that I also want to put in my New Year's resolution for my goals for 2020. Also for 2020, one major thing that I wanted to do on my bucket list was go to Hawaii, and we actually have it paid and planned for, so that's exciting. Something else that I personally want to do that I have not yet done, but I'm going to, is I want to sign up for a class. I actually went somewhere to look for the class, and I had seen great things about it online, but when I went to the location, it was actually shut down. It was a Pilates class. So I still do intend on doing a class of some sort, yoga or Pilates. I'm leaning towards those two just because I haven't been physically active, and I feel like I need to ease myself into something. So I'm waiting. There's no really excuse. I'm not really waiting for anything, but I need to find a place, and I need to be a little bit more aggressive about finding a place to go and sign up at. And then, let's see, another thing for me and for us together is being able to save money in our savings account. So our goal is to save my goal, and it's going to be my husband's goal because it's my goal, but it's $15,000 in our savings account for the purchase of our home whenever we do end up buying a home. So that would be another goal. And then paying off some credit cards that we have. We have 3 credit cards, but 2 of them are really just the ones that I want to pay off. So those are some goals that I have. And then obviously just like eating healthier and living a healthier lifestyle is something that I always strive for, but it's very hard, and it's something that's a little bit more time consuming. If you don't meal prep, or you work a full-time job like me and my husband do, or extra, then it becomes really hard to just kind of like focus on eating healthy every single night. But it's something that I do need to dedicate more of my time to during the week. And then listening to, another thing that for me was listening to a podcast or some type of like books. And I have been able to listen to the One Extraordinary Marriage, like I was telling you guys, podcast. And so I highly recommend that. But I've also really enjoyed it. And so I've kind of started listening to something that makes my mind like grow and makes myself as a person, as an individual, want to strive to be better. And so that has also been something that I've been wanting to do. If it wasn't something like that related towards marriage, it would have been towards like leadership, because obviously my job entails me to be a leader, and I want to be the best leader that I can be for my team. So those are a few goals that I've had this year. Obviously, like a lot of little traveling and things like that.
In the butt. What? In the butt. I just won $20.
Oh, good job, honey.
Sucker.
I'm talking about New Year's resolutions. What's one of your New Year's resolutions on a serious note?
To save money.
Oh, let's see.
Save money so we could put a down payment on a house.
And what else?
Oh,
what's one of your personal goals?
To keep winning on these scratchers.
No, you're so stupid.
My personal goals? To be a better me.
Besides that?
To get a truck.
Oh yeah, that's one of my other goals too, is that we do want to get a new car this year, at the end of the year, because my car, it has over 90,000 miles on it now. And then my husband's car, it doesn't have that many miles on it, but we want to trade it in for something different. But we'll see. I'm not sure what we'll do yet. I think one of my husband's goals too that he failed to mention is maybe trying to apply for the inside wireman electrical. Yeah?
It's not a goal.
It's
The goal is to get in, not apply.
So anyways, but my husband already does electrical work, but he wants to continue to grow his career, and I 100% support him and think that he would be great at whatever he does. So, and it would be a great step for our future. So that is all for our 2020 goals. I guess like another thing that we really tried to do this last 2019 was like help people that were less fortunate. Like during the holiday season, my husband brought plates of food and, you know, some money to homeless. So I feel like we could do a better job in 2020 to help those that are less fortunate than us. Sorry, I have to go because my husband is making me laugh over here and being a stupid dork. Anyways, but yeah, definitely always helping and making sure that, you know, we don't forget how fortunate we are, and ensure that we help others. Your clothes are already in the bathroom, honey. Oh. Anyways, so that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry, towards the end, he got me totally distracted and made me start laughing, so I apologize. And I think that's all that I have for you guys. You guys have a great night, evening, and leave me comments below on what your 2020 goals are and how you're going to achieve them. And remember, even if you don't achieve them, at least you can work towards them, right? And you can continue to work towards them until you do achieve them. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.